So here it is, all of the bushcraft gear that I have gathered over the years. Hello guys, this is Nick from HF Survival School and thank you very much for joining me. So tomorrow I'm going hunting, so I was doing a little bit packing up the gear, getting ready, and I realized that I have my gear all over the house. So I decided to put an end to that. I thought this would be a great time to show you guys all of the bushcraft gear that I own. First of all, I'm filming this in my apartment, obviously. So sorry if you hear some background noises, because my house is next to a road and there is a lot of noise. And by the way, these are my paintings. Hope you guys like it. So let's get right into it. So let's start with the interesting part. I know all of you guys want to know about the sharp stuff first. This is my primary axe. It is the Hultafors Classic Felling Axe. You guys have seen me use this axe for a bit over 3 years in any kind of conditions, in many videos, in many kinds of different trips, building shelters, etc. I have said a lot of good things over the years about this axe because it is really that good. I keep it razor sharp. Like, check this out. I don't know if you can see it, but here's some hair. It literally shaves. So that's my primary axe. Then comes the Hultafors Abbey Forest axe. I didn't have a chance to use it yet because it is summer, it is very hot. I have been doing a lot of work and I was not able to go out in the bush far from the city. I made this custom collar and the custom mask for it. As you see, it is beautiful, razor sharp, mirror polished the back as well. And I just can't wait to use this axe. Very high quality mask and collar as well. Then is the Husqvarna hatchet. Here it is. This was actually the first leather sheath I have ever made, and a small collar as well. This is quite a heavy hatchet. It has a thick profile that is good, very good for splitting wood. You have guys also seen me use this hatchet a lot. It's a great hatchet. It had a great price. It was very cheap. I did some sharpening and a little bit of reprofile on the blade, and now it is just perfect for its size. Then comes also my newest axe or hatchet. It is the Hultafors small hatchet or mini hatchet. I don't remember how it is called. It is very small. I also used it just a few times, but I didn't use it out in the bush. I was doing some spoon carving and that's what I used it for. So also look forward to get more use with this little guy in the outdoors. Now let's move to the knives. This is the Mora Heavy Duty High Carbon Steel Scandi Grind. All of you know this knife. This is my primary bushcraft knife for a bit over 3 or 4 years, something like that. I've done everything with this knife. I have videos where I literally shaved my beard with this knife. I have videos where I skin a moose with this knife, fire prep, all of that good stuff. You guys have seen it. This knife has done it. I recommend it with my both thumbs up. Best like $25 ever spent. Then is the Mora 510. I have attached some paracord to it so that it is now a neck knife. It is a good blade, more reliability. All of you know that it is good. It is the same blade as the Classic #1, and it has a plastic handle, so it is more durable and more robust. Same blade, also recommended. Nice backup knife, or maybe a primary knife in a needed situation. Then comes this Cudeman NT5. It is a Spanish knife company. It is Bohler AIN 695 steel, which is stainless steel. I made this sheath back in the day. It was like 3 or 4 years ago, I don't remember. This is like my primary hunting knife. It has a full flat grind. It is pretty thick. It is very robust, and that's why it is my primary hunting knife. I can skin with it, with this, without any problems. Of course I can skin with other knives as well, but I prefer to have this. I don't have to care to clean it as often and to look out to it not get rusty, because it is stainless steel. Great overall shape, great feeling. I have done a full review on this. I will include links to all of the gear down in the description. This is a new knife. It is a Nessmuk style knife, George Washington Sears. This is a knife blade by Brisa. It is a Finnish knife company. They sell this knife already made or as a kit, and I got this as a kit, so it was just blade ready. I received the scales and now I'm working to finish it. Of course it is not finished yet. It has just a general shape and it is glued. It looks quite promising. It is very sharp. It has a high Scandi grind, and as I say, it doesn't have a secondary bevel, so it will make this will be very sharp. I can already tell, and it will be very good for carving. So far I have not used this kind of design. This is the George Washington Sears designs, also known as Nessmuk, as mentioned. So I really look forward to it. It also came with a sheath. It has a dangler and a belt loop as well. Then comes this small carving knife, which is actually the first ever knife I made. Blade is of course not made by me. I was not that good back then. This is like 5 or 6 years ago maybe, something like that. I broke a Mora companion. It broke in half because I abused it. I did something that I shouldn't have really done it. So I didn't want to get rid of throw the blade in garbage. So I recycled it, made a nice handle, and it is a nice small little carving knife. I also made a wood spirit head on it. Then comes the spoon knife. It is made by Ben Alford. It is hand forged and handmade. Very high quality blade, very high quality spoon knife. I really like it, and it carves very good. You can also see the video where I carve spoons with this down in the description, and also will put a link down in the description as well. And by the way, I paid my money for this. I'm not being sponsored or anything like that. I'm not being sponsored by anyone. Maximum what has anyone ever done, maybe send one or two gear for free, and that's it. No obligations at all. Let's move over here. Of course, everyone should have a first aid kit. I have my small first aid kit. One thing I would recommend to put as many band-aids as you can. I also had some non-stick pads, some bigger band-aids, but they are over there. I am doing a refill. This is some alcohol, I don't know how it is called in English, to put on your wounds. I also have some medicines. I have some medicine from headaches, some ibuprofen, some Imodium for diarrhea. You gotta have that, of course, and some gallbladder pain tablets as well. So your first aid kit has to cover all kinds of cuts and your personal medicines as well. Then I have this water bottle. It was given to my father. My father was in a survival TV show back like 15 years ago, maybe. He was in Malaysia, and they give this Swiss-made water bottle made by this company. I have been using this ever since, and it is a great water bottle. Then, of course, every bushcrafter has to have some kind of gloves, leather gloves. I go with Wells Lamont. These are very cheap. They cost like $12 or $13. They are high quality leather, and I'm going through like third or fourth pair already over like the course of 3 or 4 years. They last about a year, give or take a little. They are great, and it is a must to have if you are out in the bush cooking and etc. When you don't want to get your hands dirty, or when you want to work or something like that, or when you are working on the fire, to not get your hands burned. Then is this small pouch. I keep some tinder in it usually, maybe some horseshoe fungus, or maybe birch bark and stuff like that. Then comes this ferro rod. It is 1/2 inch thick by 6 inch long ferro rod blank. It was sent to me by a kind subscriber, Andy. Thank you very much again. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. This was my first big ferro rod. which I used a lot. Then comes the second ferro rod, which is even bigger. It is made by a company called Uberleben. It comes with its own striker, as you see. It is a very high quality ferro rod. I'll also link it down in the description. I also have one more ferro rod, which you guys have seen in most of my videos, which I for some reason cannot find it right now. It is same as this, same shape handle, but with a different wood, so it is like exactly the same. Then I have a small kind of diary or journal in which I put some stuff in it. I put my memories in it, I take some notes, and it is a great thing to have this, because many times we forget our memories, and it is good to write down some key things. And rock over here, I will show you, lay down in the pile of gear. So he's a member, he's a piece in all of my gear. Let's move on. I have this old gas stove. It is by Camping Gas. It is pretty old and outdated, but it is still usable. I won't turn it on. It is full. It has this kind of gas cartridges, and it is not a bad stove, but it is for sure not for ultralight backpacking and stuff. Then is the Sawyer Mini water filter. It is, what can I say, it is very good. Everyone has made reviews about this, and it filters like 100,000 liters of water or something like that. And having a water filter is very important. But in the country I live, there's a lot of fresh water sources coming from the mountains. So in any direction, if you walk like half hour or 1 hour, you will find a fresh water source. But it is still important to have some kind of water filtration system with you. Then comes this US military surplus mess kit. You guys have seen this as well. I have also put some cutting board in it. It is very useful to have a cutting board. This is not meant to be cooked on and put directly on fire, but you guys have seen it in many videos where I use it as a pan, as a plate, and etc. Then I made this simple dump pouch, which, as you see, Rocco almost ate. I found it very useful to have a dump pouch. You open it when you are out in the bush, maybe put some kindling in it, maybe put some twigs, maybe some berries, strawberries and stuff like that. Anything you find useful in the woods and you don't want to put it in your pockets. Let's move on this side. As you see, this is an old kerosene oil lantern. It is very nice to have this kind of lantern when you are out in the bush. Of course, we are not doing some ultralight backpacking, so we can take big stuff like this. It's a bit dusty because it was on the shelf, and it gives a nice warm flame. And then I have some folding knives. Most of them are not bushcrafty, but I still decided to show you. This is the CRKT Hootenanny. It has a great blade, and it is a great knife to play around with. This was my Grail knife. My cousin had it, and I wanted to have this so badly when I was a child, and at last, after like 10 years, he gifted it to me. This is the Spyderco bird knife. Then is this tactical Kershaw Emerson edition. It has the Emerson patented opening system, and I also put a badass call to make it unique. Everyone has to have a Swiss Army knife. It is very useful. It has a nice small blade that you can have on your person all the time, and my edition has just 2 blades, but in an ideal situation you can get a farmer or a bushcrafter model which has some other tools, and it is very useful on daily basis. It has aluminium scales, and it is very high quality and very sharp blades. Then comes this Chris Reeves Sebenza knife. It was a gift by my friend. It is not an original, of course. Originals cost like $500 and $600, but it is a very high quality replica. This costs like under $100 because it is D2 tool steel, and it is very high quality, and I really want it as a Sebenza. And then I have a paracord bracelet. Of course, everyone has to have one. This is kind of like a survival bracelet. It has a small ferro rod, it has a scraper in the middle, and Rocco is carefully coming in the shot. This is not for you. I'm so sorry Rocco came in the shot. This is a hand drill. It is it is nice to have auger bits for this, and it is great to make holes out in the bush, make some chairs, tables and etc. You guys saw me use this tool when I made the underground shelter, so if you want to see that video I will also link it down in the description. Let's move on. This is the Pakla Laplander saw, the only saw that you will ever need. This was my first and last folding saw, I hope last, because it is very durable. I have bent the edge many times, and I straighten it out in the bush in a small cut in the wood and stuff like that, and it didn't break. I have had it this a bit over 5 years, this folding saw, and it has worked great. I also made this dangler sheet for it. This was also back from that time. You can see that it is not a good quality at all. Then I have two kuksas. If you don't know, kuksa is a Scandinavian drinking vessel. This is made by Uberleben, and this was a gift my cousin brought to me when he was traveling in Finland. It is very nice to have a cup like this, and it brings kind of romantic memories, you know, out in the bush. Speaking of drinking vessels, you guys have also seen this. This is a drinking horn owned by my father. It says 1979 and my father's name on it. It is also nice to hang this from your belt. It is very robust and durable, and it is nice to have a drinking vessel on you, maybe when you are next to a stream of water and stuff like that. But the only downside is that you cannot put it down. So when someone gives you a drinking horn full of wine, you have to drink it all. Then I have the Hultafors sharpening stone. This is for sharpening your axe, but you can of course sharpen anything on it. It has coarse and fine sides, and it is a great stone to sharpen your axes. I really like this pouch as well. And I'm not being paid by Hultafors, I just love the company very much. Then is this flint and steel kit. I got this, I think, from flintandsteel.com. I will also find the link and put it down in the description. Great flint and steel kit, hand forged. It comes with everything you need. Some very good char cloth. It comes with flint, jute twine, and the striker itself, and it has a nice belt pouch, which you see right here. This is not that bushcrafty, but I also made it, and Rocco also ate it. This goes on your hand. This is when hunting in the woods, maybe some dangerous animals. When you have to reload it fast. You just open the shotgun. I'm a lefty, so I put it on my left side. I open the shotgun, take out the ammo very fast, and put it right in, and I'm ready to make a secondary shot. Then is this balaclava. I recommend to have a balaclava on you all the time in the summer and the winter. You can cover your face with it, you can cover your head. It has many uses. This is a small fence which I cut out as I remember, and I use it as a grill to cook my meat and some other food on it, or maybe rest a kettle on it and stuff like that. I'm sure it is not safe because it is aluminium, I think, but who cares? I'm still alive after 5 years of using this, so it works. You can never have enough paracord. I recommend getting some bright colors. This is bright orange, because if it falls down, you will be able to easily find it. Once I had like a woodland camo paracord, and once I lost it on the ground, and I was not able to find it again. Even though it was something like very close to my feet, but I was still not able to find it. I buy usually a pack like this once a year. I buy it on Amazon. Paracord Planet is the seller or the maker, and they make pretty decent paracord. This is a useful leather piece. You can cut out like this, thing like this at home as well. I use this as a seat pad. You can also build your fire on this if For example, when I'm making a bowl drill fire, it is, and if it is wet outside, I put my hardboard on this and something to hold the coals on this. Very useful. You can hold it like this, put some tinder in it and blow from this side, and it has many nice useful things. You can also put this on your leg when you are carving. Then comes the buck saw. I have two blades. This blade is from Backhoe as well, the same company that makes the folding saws. This is a greenwood blade, as you see. It is different. This is the deadwood blade, as you see. I don't know, sometimes I find this blade more useful, sometimes this, but generally speaking, both of them are good. I made the frame myself. I put some runes on it. It says HF Survival School with runes. And it's very nice to have a big saw like this, because when building a shelter, for example, a small folding saw is not that useful for cutting big pieces of wood. So next up, what I have is this small survival kit, as I call it. It has various odds and ends. It has a reflective SOL tarp or PV, and a small folding knife, small ferro rod, and etc. Stuff like that. Everyone has to have a small survival kit, just in case. Then I have this Uberleben kettle. As you see, it has been used a lot. It has some sheepskin on it because it was laying on a sheepskin, and that's the way I stored it. Great kettle. It also had some paracord on this, but I needed some paracord, so I removed it out in the bush. So that's your double purpose items. It also has some dust on it because it is summer and I have not gone out anywhere for like the past 1 or 2 months. Been working like crazy making knives and stuff, so that's why everything is a little dusty. Then is the trusty old pot. It has a lid. It has a small pan like this inside, and it also has a little bit bigger pan which nests inside. Very multi-purpose item. You can hang your food from it, prepare it on this. You can also bake it with this and the other compartment. I have used it also in many videos, so you can see that as well. I don't know who is the maker. A subscriber sent it to me a few years back. Then I didn't put a lot of shelter options here. This is one of them, the AquaQuest Hooked PV. I have stayed in minus 15 degrees Celsius in this shelter. It's not even a shelter, it's a PV, but it covers your head. You guys have seen this being used on top of the Caucasus Mountains, also in deep snow and stuff like that. Also, I don't have other shelter options here to not bore you, but I will just mention them. I also have one Defender tarp by AquaQuest as well. I also have one DD tarp 3x3. I also have the AquaQuest, I don't remember how it's called, it's their tent. And I also have a Polish Lawu military surplus, very great item, very great shelter. And I'm also planning to make kind of a wood stove at home so that we can use it and test it out in the snow, out in the winter, and do some hot tent camping. You guys remember probably when I was making fun of people using trekking poles like 5 or so years ago, but then I got them, and because I have back problems when carrying a lot of weight, I find this very useful. These are some cheap Amazon brand, Alpine Summit they are called. They were like 30 or 35 bucks. I have had them, I have more than like 500 kilometers on this, trekking in the mountains, very rough terrain. Different tips on this. This is one of my favorites. It has a lot of trekking, and also if it is muddy, there is a small round thing like that makes sure it doesn't go deep in the mud. Then of course everyone has to have one small flask. I call the stuff I put in it's a magic juice, but mostly I have some whiskey or some wine. homemade wine or maybe vodka or something like that. But everyone has to have one if you want to be a true woodsman. This is an old military surplus ammo pouch. I kind of did a little bit of restoration, put some belt loops on the back, so you can put it on your belt and you can put some stuff in it. Now, these are bird hangers. When you kill a bird, you put its head right through here and hang it. I made this one, and this is an old one I bought. This is also a deer ring I made. If you're not familiar with hunting, this is a very useful item to hang your birds when you kill them. Another homemade item, these are chaps which go around your foot like this. This was made by my father's friend. He used it some and then he gave it to me. This is some double layered canvas, some leather around it, and I put some, it had this, but I renewed it because the old ones were out of service and all rusty. I put some belt buckles and belts to put it around your feet. Very useful item when walking very useful item when you are walking in hard terrain where there are a lot of bushes which poke you in the legs. Well, this is not a bushcrafty item, but I will still talk about it. This is my primary shotgun. It is the Soviet Tula 34 or TOS 34. I know guys in US call it Tula. It has a custom stock, so that because I'm a left-hand shooter, it has a stock which goes on the left side. This is my first season with it, and I also put some leather on the recoil pad to make it look like a bit more expensive high-end shotgun, because all high-end shotguns have leather recoil pads. This is the shotgun I carry out in the bush. It is a 20 gauge single barrel IJ 18A. A stands for projector. This was my father's first gun when he was 17 years or 16 years old. Now he is 57, so you do the math. It was also my first shotgun, the first shotgun with which I went hunting when I was 11 or 12 years old. And I still use it to this day because it is very lightweight, and when I'm out in some dangerous woods, where in the winter, where for example some wolves can attack me or a bear can attack me, I take this as a self-defense item, or maybe to harvest some food while I'm out in the bush. This is also, I won't talk much about it because I doubt you are interested, a shotgun cleaning kit. It has a rod that assembles and some different, I have some oils and some cloths to clean my shotguns. You guys know I love hats. This is a Cabela's hat. I got it like maybe 10ish years ago, and it is in a pretty rough shape. It has been in my dog's mouth many times. It has many miles on it, many trips in rain and etc. As you see, it is already in bad shape, but it is still very nice hat. And it is still usable. It was pretty expensive, like $60 or $70, but as you see, down the road, when you use it a lot, it was all worth it. I got this new hat. It is a cheap hat for like Chinese $10 hat, which I will use on this season. This is a small whistle, which I put around my neck to call Rocco. These are some ammunition pouches. I have like 150 rounds of birdshot for the upcoming quail season. I have some slugs and many other shotgun shells, which I doubt you are interested in. So that aside, I have a cheap binocular. I find it pretty useful. For example, if I'm out in the mountains to find some different routes. So for example, if you're on top of one mountain and you want to go on another, you want to see there where the route is going, you use a binocular, or maybe if you're hunting. This is an also old bag. I did some restorations. It came out pretty good. Old Soviet bag. It says USSR. I have some 20 gauge ammunition in it for my single barrel. And now we came to clothing. until we go to then. I have many pouches like this, different sizes and shapes. They have MOLLE attachments, so you can attach it on MOLLE backpacks. So I have quite a few, about like 10 or so different sizes and shapes of pouches like this. So now we came to clothing. Of course I won't show you guys all of my clothing, I won't bore you with that, but just generally speaking, my go-to items are these Swedish military surplus shirts. These are like $6 or $7 or $8 at maximum, brand new, unissued. I mean, it was issued in like 1979, this shirt, and in that period of time, but they were not issued, so they are brand new, very durable, 100% cotton, very nice to use. I have two belts, the Soviet officer belt. Back in the day when this was new, they said that you can tow a car with this. Okay, you can imagine how durable it is. But I have had it for like 10 years and it is still going strong. But now I'm using this nylon belt, which is by 511, or no, it is by Proper. Cheap belt, but works great. All of my old subscribers know that I'm both thumbs up for military surplus clothing, and I have been using them since I remember myself, since I was very small. My father had a lot of military surplus clothing because he had a hunting shop back in 90s, and when he closed he had a lot of extra, so I have been using that. But now people start to realize that they are very good. They tend to go pretty expensive comparing to what they were, so buying that on eBay or Amazon and then shipping it to this side of the world is pretty expensive. So with that price I decided to try new pants. These are 511. I went to the local shop and bought it, and I like it very much. It was like $50. I have had this for 2-ish years, 2.5 or something like that, 2 years. I have worn this in winter, in summer, hunting, bushcrafting, fishing, anything, and they are still in great shape, so I recommend them to you. It has like 1 or 2 holes from last hunting season because I was walking in some very nasty briar kind of terrain, so they were wearing, if they made holes even in my leather gloves, so you imagine how bad it was. Then comes probably the most expensive thing that I have ever bought. I was like starving for 1 month and walking by foot to everywhere after I bought it because it was so expensive. This was a Filson Thin Cloth Vest, and it ran me like $150 or $160, so it is very expensive. It is a hunting vest, but no one says it is hunting. I also wear it when bushcrafting. It has 2 pockets on the front and 1 big on the back. It is very useful when doing stuff, but it is generally for hunting, and it is this expensive because it is USA made, and it is very high quality cotton, and it has a guarantee for life. I have never even spoken to Filson, so this is not a sponsored video. I bought it with my money and I starved because of that for a month. It is very high quality. It has a lifetime guarantee. I have some ammunition in it for upcoming tomorrow's hunting trip. It is guaranteed for life, so in like 20 years something happened to it, you send it back, they either fix it like brand new or send you a brand new item. Very high quality made, as said, and very useful. I recommend any kind of Filson clothing to anyone doing anything out in the bush, or maybe even just urban clothing. Then we come to backpacks and storage items. This is the AquaQuest waterproof 30-liter dry bag. I also have different sizes of this dry bag. It is very good when you are going hiking in kind of situation where it will be raining. You put all of this gear all of your gear inside this, and then you put this inside your backpack. So this way they will be really dry, even in very harsh rain. You fold it like this, and just like that it becomes waterproof. As I mentioned, my father was on a survival TV show and they gave this Haglov's backpack to him back like 15 or so years ago, and I have been using it ever since. It is very high quality. It is like 25 or 30 liters at maximum, and for its time. It has been doing flawlessly. It is great for like one-day trips or maybe even a two-day trip, but it's pretty hard to attach sleeping bags and sleeping pads on the outside, maybe just on this. It's a great backpack. Another backpack is, of course, you are not a bushcrafter if you don't have a Swedish LK35. I got it pretty cheap. It was like brand new, unissued, and I got it for like $20 or $25 or something like that in the United Kingdom, and then I had to pay like triple that amount to ship it to me. So it was pretty expensive, but this again is made to last all your life. It has the 3 Swedish crowns right here, so that it says that it's a genuine military surplus. Again, sorry for the outside noises. I also have another backpack by, I won't bore you guys with that, I will just say with few words, from Teton Sports. It is the Teton 5500, I think, the biggest model. It is like 90-liter backpack for backpacking and trekking. And I also have a Soviet Meshok, I think it is called, backpack. Of course, this is the goat hide. I use it as a sleep pad or sitting pad. It is very good to have it. It is very warm. Guess that's it. That's the really the most of my kit. That's all of the knives and sharp stuff I have and all of the tools. Maybe I have like more clothing, of course. I have maybe 1 or 2 backpacks and stuff like that. I have a sleeping bags, 1 or 2. Actually, I have 2. One is from Teton Sports as well, and one is the extreme cold military surplus sleeping bag, which you can sleep in like minus of 30 or 40 degrees. And I have been in like minus 20 degrees in it, and it was very warm, I must say that. I also have a sleeping pad, the Thermarest Ridge Red So Light, and a few other odds and ends, you know, but that's all of really everything I had. I had quite a few more knives, more folding knives, way more folding knives, and also quite a few morars, but I like to give them as a gift. See, they make great gifts, like $15, $20, $25 knives make great gifts. Everyone likes sharp stuff. So I gifted 1 Mora to my father, 1 to my friend. I gave a Mora 510 to a local fan which I met. So guys, I think that will be all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell icon to get notified for more awesome videos. And now me and my main piece of gear over here will say goodbye. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one.